Joining us now, Evelyn Farkas. She served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Russia, Ukraine, Eurasia, and the Balkans, and she's now the Executive Director of the McCain Institute. Welcome back. Let's start here with these warnings from the U.S. government of attacks across Ukraine. They are aware of attacks now. What are you expecting over these next days as we are in this crucial week for Ukraine?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me back on, Victor and Alisyn. Unfortunately, I think the Russians have made it pretty clear through their official statements and then media statements, that basically have been calling for retribution for the killing of Ms. Dugina, who is the daughter of a philosopher who is basically behind Russia's nationalist thinking, including that of President Putin. They've been blaming Ukraine. And of course, the whole war really is, in essence, an attempt to erase Ukraine as a political entity from the map. Russia wants to control Ukraine, and they don't believe that Ukraine should really be independent politically, economically, and otherwise. So that's what's at stake. So Independence Day matters to the Ukrainians, obviously, but the Russians are using it as an excuse to provoke and further, launch aggressive attacks against the Ukrainians.
So, Evelyn, the United States just announced another $3 billion in weapons assistance to Ukraine. We can put up on the screen all the different things that it will go towards. Will that make a dent? Does that help Ukraine get the upper hand here?
Yes, I think it does, Alisyn, because what you see here are much more highly capable systems, including additional ammunition for some of the systems we've already given the Ukrainians. So in the first phase, you might remember, we were providing the Ukrainians with a lot of kind of Ukrainian and Russian Soviet era systems and ammunition. And now they're using longer range artillery, better air defense systems, maritime attack systems being provided from the United States and also from other countries. Yesterday, I believe, Germany and the United Kingdom also announced additional assistance. So it's the quality of this assistance, and then also, of course, drones and counter-drone systems.
I want to read for you what a NATO official said to CNN about the end game and some larger questions. Do we all still have the same view of the end game? Is it just getting back to the borders before Russia invaded, or is it back to pre-2014 before Russia annexed Crimea? And will we deal with Putin after the war, or will he need to stand down? These are the long-term questions we need to be asking, but are not, and it's better not to ask these questions right now. Is now the time to ask these important questions or not?
Yes, now is the time to ask these questions because we are providing assistance to Ukraine. Therefore, we need to understand clearly to what end. And the reason why we're providing this assistance is so that Ukraine can control all of its territory, so that the entire invading force, including in Crimea, can be removed from Ukraine's territory. Now, does that mean they have to fight for every inch of it? Not necessarily. Vladimir Putin can be convinced through use of military force and negotiations to leave the battlefield and leave Russia. And that is the outcome that we all want. And that's what we should be aiming for. As far as, who is ruling Russia, that's really up to the Russian people. But we do not want a government that is free to launch this kind of aggressive campaign against Ukraine or any of its other neighbors. We should remember that there are Russian forces in neighboring Moldova, which is a small country, has a border with Ukraine. And then, of course, there are Russian forces occupying 20% of the territory of the Republic of Georgia. So the Russian aggressive foreign policy is what needs to end. Whether that's a decision that Putin comes to or someone after him is not as important as the fact that it ends.
Evelyn Farkas, thank you as always.